All right, what's going on, guys? I don't even know if anyone's
Whoa.
here. I guess it doesn't matter.
I got ash on my pants.
From your dad's?
No.
Oh, I saw he was doing some burn tests.
Oh, he's making. What is happening?
You
He's
tell me?
he's a pyrotechnician, my father. And he's making fireworks, and I also think he's making rocket engines.
It looked like rocket engines from his YouTube video.
Yeah. Well, the first thing he showed off was showing off stars that he was making his dehydrator. He's using his food dehydrator to make small explosives of the Lookin' variety, not of the Harmon variety.
I guess I should explain what I'm doing, but go for it.
What movies are in your March Madness bracket?
That was a while ago. That was back in March.
Old project. Okay.
Yeah,
March, that would make sense. Time is weird.
I'm doing this for the sizing.
I see.
I named it Willy Wonka. It's not Willy Wonka, but well. Yeah, so this is basically what I'm going to do is I'm making a header. So when we do our shows, we have headers, at the top that we use for all sorts of stuff. And we need one for tomorrow's show, which is celebrating the 50th. Oh, that's the wrong scene. The 50th anniversary of William Wonka.
Willy and Wonka. Do you know much about Willy Wonka?
I mean,
about its production.
Watched the show, the movie. I don't know if I could say I've dove deep into the production.
Well, let me give you
on watching
little,
it tonight.
Let me give you a few factoids.
Hell yeah, dude! What's going on, Bonk?
About Willy Wonka. In the scene at the beginning, well, not at the beginning. First and foremost, Willy Wonka is a weird film because it's half not in the factory, and then the other half is in the factory. It's not like it's like a few 20 minutes, then all of a sudden they're in the factory for the rest of the film. But anyway, when Gene Wilder's character, Mr. Wonka himself, he wanted to come out and display on a cane. He asked to do that, and he wanted to do it as a comedic setup for his character, and you not being able to tell whether he was joking or not. I thought that's a little neat little thing he added to it. I've never read the books, the Roald Dahl books.
I did a long time ago. Like a long time ago.
Trying to think of the Roald Dahl's books. I'm thinking of them.
The Giant. What's on with the Giant?
James and the Giant Peach. Or
That
is
one.
different?
No, I'm thinking of a different one.
No, that's the BFG.
Right. The Big Friendly Giant. Right.
BFG 9000.
Let's go on, Night.
Hello, Quaker Oats.
I don't know who trimmed his fucking hair. Oh my god, who trimmed this?
Very good PNG.
He's like triangular.
Why are the majority of the shots of the Johnny Depp one?
Well, I did transparent only.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm guessing there's more transparent Johnny Depps than there are non.
Does it bother you to a certain degree that there's likely like generations that may or may not even be aware of the older film? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I don't think
it's going to get to that point, you think?
Oh, I think it's definitely going to get to that point. I just don't know if it really bothers me per se. I think it's a little sad because I think of the two that the older one is better personally, but I mean,
I'm
think
sure
someone who's younger might
suggest that the newer one is objectively worse in every way.
I like how BFG is not the Big Friendly Giant; it's the Big Freaking Giant. It's a very, very good one. It bothers you
Is there
because
a
it makes you
Lego
feel old.
minifig one?
The Lego minifig one? Yeah, I saw that. I don't know if that's quite what Dave wants. What is this? Duplo? No, Playmobil. Right.
It's Playmobil, yeah.
I think I like this one. I don't know the name. I have a crude sketch from David. I'm sure he would be upset if I showed it, but this is his crude sketch here. So that might actually work.
Very
out.
good.
Yeah, not too bad. Better than what I could do.
Should have it be the chocolate bar, and then him. It should be the chocolate bar, then overlay him on the side.
I have this.
Have it be the chocolate bar.
I have.
No, not the golden ticket. Like the actual chocolate bar.
I don't know if I can get a picture of the golden ticket. Like, not anchor point. You know what I mean?
No, like the actual the chocolate bar. Like the
I know what you're saying.
Wrapped up. Willy Wonka chocolate bar. There you go. And so you just get the chocolate bar, and that's basically the size of your header.
The exploder. The hell's this exploder? Tongue crackling chocolate. It doesn't sound appealing at all.
I guess the idea was that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was a brand deal with Quaker Oats.
Quaker Oats?
And
wow.
Quaker Oats helped finance the film to a certain degree, and they were going to make chocolate bars that came out with the film as a tie-in. And I guess the legend goes that the chocolate bars, as they were making it, they couldn't be shelf stable, like they kept melting in their packaging. And so the movie came out before the chocolate bars came out, and that's it. So the chocolate bar didn't take off. And I guess the film wasn't that well regarded. It was kind of pseudo cult classic. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it did well in theaters or whatever.
Good luck, Scum. I heard it didn't do great.
$2 million film budget.
Yeah, back then too.
I mean, the sets in the latter half of the film that's pretty expensive for 1970 monies. I gotta go take it. I have not seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory for a very long time.
I wanted to watch it tonight.
God dang it.
So I may do that.
Oh, dang it. Have you installed the Windows 11 leak build?
No.
Have you checked your PC health check to see if it's eligible for Windows 11?
I haven't, but it's literally hardware that came out in the last 8 months. If it's not compatible, I would be so fucking mad.
Do all modern motherboards come with TPMs on them?
No. You can get add-in cards for it. Well, I don't know about modern. Maybe now, but there are definitely some in the last, I think they're supporting, 2018 on CPUs, so there definitely could be motherboards that don't have TPMs. But I've seen TPM add-ons. Good luck getting one.
Dear chat who don't know what a TPM is, stands for Trusted Platform Module. And it's a little chippy in your computer door, maybe, that
hopefully
says, hey, you're allowed to use this computer with these parts.
You can trust me. Come on, man.
You can trust. And if you put little chippies in your computer of questionable regard, it might go, hey, don't do that.
You can't trust that. Trust me.
You can't trust that. Input your 48-digit long code that you hopefully saved or escrowed into a logistics system. Otherwise, your data's fucked. Trust me, I'm a TPM. And then earlier, apparently this week, or it was reported earlier this week. Apparently, Microsoft was totally okay with signing off on a driver that had malware in it.
Oh, of course. Why not?
So that's cool. But make sure you have a TPM for your Windows 11. I actually can appreciate that as a need for the upgrade.
Throw away your computer. That's a little annoying just from, and a lot of people have been bringing this up, an e-waste perspective. That really doesn't help e-waste, especially when a lot of things could run some older, you know what I mean? Like, especially if they're doing touch stuff, like mobile processors and touch.
Gear. I think that's a
products
non-issue. I think that is a non. I don't know. I had this conversation with my supervisor, and the more I think about it, like the e-waste I can get in the short run. I don't think it really matters in the long run, though.
In the long run, they'll just make stuff that has it. I'm more talking about right now. I have a computer that's running a kiosk, and it doesn't need to be super high powered. But because the kiosk software always wants to be up on the latest OS, blah, 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 I now have to get a new computer because my computer doesn't have a TPM.
But
even though it's a valid computer. That's what?
That's what LTSBs or LTSCs are for.
I don't know what those are.
Okay, so it doesn't matter in the long run because most Windows users stick around on the old OS for like 3 to 5 years after the fact. Like, Windows knows that they're going to have to be supporting Windows 10, and in an enterprise environment, the likelihood that you should upgrade your devices in 5 years, or be of 5 years old by that time, and that by that point you should have a TPM, right? Because they do want to force the market on. So I don't think from an enterprise perspective, which I think Windows cares about, I don't really know. I don't know where their market heading is.
You can't look me in the eyes and say that there are not things like fucking ATMs and stuff running Windows XP still. You cannot.
I'm not saying that there aren't, but that is not an enterprise level business doing that, or at least.
Yeah, you think so?
Let me rephrase. There's definitely enterprise businesses running Windows XP still, no questions on that. I'm saying that from the people that work directly with Microsoft contracting, where it really matters, where you actually are, you're trying to follow an upgrade plan and you actually are in the Microsoft environment, then it doesn't matter temporally. For these end users, I mean, there's going to be people are going to still use Windows 7. There's still consumers who are actively screwing themselves by sitting on Windows 7, even past 11 once it comes out, 7 to 11. So, I mean, to a certain degree, Microsoft's saving themselves from a lot of headaches with security patches, that's for sure. So I cannot blame them for saying, yeah, our next version you gotta have a lock on your computer. You need to have a thing. I don't know. It's similar to like how cars nowadays, they're just starting, like 2018 they started requiring backup cameras on cars. Did you know this?
I think I heard it. Yeah.
And that it's like, oh well, yeah, all right, sure. All new cars need to have backup cameras. Whatever. It's no longer optional. And I think it's the same as like prior to that, every car needed to have a seat belt in it. To me, a TPM as a module on your computer, I could see it as a objective need for most consumer situations.
Yeah. I don't doubt that new stuff is going to just have it. It's more of, I have this machine, maybe it'd be great for my grandmother, but I can't put Windows 10 on it, and Windows...
Your grandma, of all people, should have a TPM.
Well, my grandma's doesn't need anything because she ain't here, but you know what I mean.
But the most vulnerable people, or the least tech savvy, for them to be safe, they probably should have a TPM. Those are the people that need it the most.
I don't think
your grandma. Well, people should Chromebook your grandma is what you're saying.
I don't think she's my theoretical grandma is going to be doing anything that really needs a TPM. She's going to install whatever she wants and brick the machine anyway.
But people that have like their shit stolen or have whatever on them, a TPM is important. Like specifically for physical stuff, like the physical handling of devices. Won't phones have the equivalent of a TPM on them?
No idea.
I know about phones. I use that more than any other piece of technology, and I know the least about cell phones in terms of their design and build. Could all be just magic smoke within those things. I know it not to be true. What's up?
When did Google change so you can't specify a size to search for?
Would you,
like I
don't
want
know.
something that has a particular width, and like the options are no longer like at least. They used to be able to select at least, and like you know what I mean.
Type it in. Type in like 1920 by 1080.
Yeah, I did 4K. I really want more individual pieces of candy. And
go to your local candy factory, wherever that may be. I'll look that up. Is there a candy factory?
Nice glitch windows. What is this?
Oh, apparently there's just a place called the Sugar Factory in New York City.
I don't doubt that.
The candy factory. This doesn't look like candy. This looks different.
What I'm looking at?
No, I'm just looking up candy factory. There's a place called Sugar Factory. That is not. Oh no, they do. Oh, this place is interesting. It's got the guy. Oh god, this this is a whole event place called the Sugar Factory. The Sugar Factory. How many locations they got? Oh, they got a bunch. This ain't something unique. Dun, 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 dun. Apple Secure Enclave ARM Trust Zone. On die of the main CPU. Oh, okay. So it's just part of the chippy. It's part of the Pringles tube, as they say. That's how you know computers when you refer to things.
Pringles. Chippy. Pringles.
Chippies? Oh, that's what that little chippy do. It makes it so you can get inside. Very good chippy. My favorite chippy. My favorite chippy is the one that goes beep boop.
I don't even think
and also snap crackle pop.
I don't think I have the plugin I want installed right now. Hang on a second.
Is this GIMP?
Yeah.
Here's my confusion then.
Yeah, what's up?
If you have Adobe.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm about to ask.
Yeah, I do.
Right. Yeah. So lecture me on that.
Well, I've only had Adobe for 2 or 3 years, whereas I've had access to GIMP since I had a computer. B, no matter where I am, I could pretty much get GIMP installed and going in a few minutes instead of having to recover and install all my shit. And then C, I look at Photoshop and I'm like, whereas at least I can bumble my way around GIMP, which is just because I've used it so much. That's not really a real reason, but
I'm going to be real with you.
Yeah,
I don't like GIMP. I don't like it. I understand it as a level of importance, but it is also probably one of my least favorite open source software. Free softwares, and it's like,
really?
Yeah. I've never liked the interface. I never liked how it ran on any time I've tried to use it.
Wow, I feel like I like the interface more than. Well, again, it maybe is a familiarity thing. I just know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, this is purely unjustified disgust with it, so I really don't have a lot of talking points against it. I just never really enjoyed using it, and I never given it the effort. So I'm a stubborn man. That looks pretty good.
I don't have the plugin I need to do what I want installed.
Could you get like a shot from the factory and just have it be the background?
Huh. I know David's listening. What do you think about that, Dave?
What?
Not you, Dave.
Oh.
The podcast, David.
I mean, you could get a thin shot of the factory and just have it in the background, have some Oompa Loompas in there.
Probably grab a short clip from one of the scenes.
I like GIMP because I don't have to pay or get a job at an educational institution. Hey!
Yeah, I don't pay for Adobe.
Don't be so targeted there, Where Ducky.
I'm gonna be so sad when work finally stops and letting me use it.
When are they gonna stop you doing that?
When they decide it's not worth the money to keep buying them. Keep buying licenses for $1 billion.
I don't know if it'd be possible for an educational institution to get out of their life cycle.
Maybe not everything, but for one or two people, it's super easy when there's to cancel our things when it runs out.
Well, yeah, from a staffing level, sure, but since they get such good dollar dues on bulk pricing for licensure, I don't know. I am not privy to those conversations. I just know specifically when it comes to like Adobe and Microsoft, it's cheaper if you just have it be fully accessible. Wow, this. There you go.
That's what I was thinking. What if it just panned across and then panned back?
No. You do panorama.
I'll go with it. And if
that kid looks so out of context. That kid looked extra stoned.
Everyone did.
Everyone probably was.
Well, hopefully the kids weren't. They're just kids.
They're all doped up on candy.
I'm whacked out on chocolate.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Dump that real quick and pop it in. You also have candy still fall in the background over that too. Oh, I launched Premiere.
They hadn't even touched a single calorie. Yeah, like system compatibility report.
Oh, you know why? Because I updated the Windows drivers for my GPU, and I haven't updated Premiere After Effects. That's literally
Look here, let me
why.
talk to you about Newegg Shuffle and how bullshit that is.
Oh, dude, I've been trying every time I see it for you. Not even joking. If it has,
Today's was terrible.
If it has one of those cards in it, I join it just for you. I don't even care if it's bundled with like 4 billion like DVRs. Like I'm entering it just to see if I can get it.
I was talking with some people that run there is a computer repair shop in the lower level of where I work. I have nothing to do with it. A completely separate like public entity. But I know them. I went down there and I was talking about I think I was talking to them about Mr. Anti-Malware himself dying.
Yeah.
And then we were brought up, I was like, I didn't get into the Newegg Shuffle. And then one of the workers in the back goes, neither did I. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I just want
not surprised.
to dance. I want to dance and do the little Mr. M. Bam. Mr. M. Bam himself. No. It's like, no, Mr. John, is it McAfee or McAfee?
I think it's McAfee.
McAfee?
That's how I've always heard it say.
Some might call him eccentric. Others might call him
fucking nuts.
Fucking nuts.
Maybe.
Others might call him dead. Some might say faked his own death. Don't know. Never will know. The only thing I know about it was a while ago, back in like 2019, he made like a JoJo's reference in a tweet. And he was talking about like he would have and if you don't know anything about JoJo's gear, that's fine.
No,
but
not a clue.
let me clue you in real quick. In JoJo's, there are powers in it that people can have that are called stands. And they're usually named after like musical references. That's just what the writer decided to do. Anyway, they're little spirits that come out of your body and can do cool shit. All right, cool. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I get the gist, I suppose.
Your own personal little pogie that's based off of your soul. That's what a stando is. Anyway, John McAfee tweets, and let me find this so I can read it to you and show it to you verbatim. I don't know how to spell it. McAfee JoJo's. Here we go. For my millennial followers, I see. For my millennial followers, I see a world where all are free to live their adventures. It's why I love JoJo. Every arc, I'm confronted with experiences that mirror my own. My stand, new order, the power to control the minds of feds. Show them the light.
What the hell? What?
You want the stand name to be called New Order, aka after the musical group New Order, and he wants to be able to control the minds of just the feds. Just the feds. There's a stand in JoJo's gear that's called Red Hot Chili Pepper.
I wonder what that's about.
But see, in the anime that they released, that shit don't fly with the like this American subtitles and dubbing. Mm-hmm. So all the stand names that have references to music are altered just so slightly, or even really badly, so they don't get any like copyright infringement. So let me think of one that's really good. I'm pretty sure Red Hot Chili Pepper was just called Chili Pepper. Is the stand red, hot, or a chili pepper though? No, it's actually like an electric like demon. That one has nothing to do with chili peppers. Rarely does the name of the stand have anything to do with it. This is anime we're talking about. Okay, there was one named Green Day, right? So it's called Green Day. Mm-hmm. Its name in the American version, Green Tea. There is a character named AC/DC. There's also a stand. And we haven't seen how this is going to get translated. There's a stand. This is spoilers. Who cares? There's a stand that hasn't been animated yet because they haven't gotten to that story. There's a stand called Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap.
Oh, God.
Right?
Yeah.
But for the sake of the naming of it, it's just called D4C. Get it?
Yeah.
Dirty Deeds Done D4C. Okay, makes sense. Anyway, people are thinking of what they would call the character in the American version, and people are like, mischievous maldoings done at a reasonable price. Like, how are they gonna name them without getting AC? No, but there is a character named AC/DC, but it's spelled like that in chat.
ECDC.
Yeah, and there's a guy named Cars, like the band Cars, but it starts with a K. Like that's pretty easy. Anyway, I don't know why the creator did that Mr. Hirohiko Araki. I don't know why he did it. Probably just for popularity's sake. I don't know. I don't know why you would make that decision to name your characters like that.
Yeah,
Don't know.
I mean, I guess I kind of get it. Like,
Because there is no other connection. Like the music is never referenced. Just so we're like the music, like names. It is literally just their names, and then sometimes it has something to do with the character by like an aesthetic reason. But the musicians themselves are never referenced. I'm gonna make I'm gonna make a shonen manga. You see, I'm gonna become a mangaka, a Western mangaka, also known as a comic artist, and I'm gonna make a comic where I'm gonna have characters and they're gonna have abilities, but instead of being named after like musicians and like songs and stuff, it's gonna be different kinds of branded candy. I'll be like, oh no, he's got the Snickers ability. Oh shit, he's got the he's got the ability of the whatchamacallit. Oh shit. World-ending abilities. Look out, it's Mars. it's the Mars. See, Mars is a perfectly reasonable name. It's like, even taken out of context, it's not like, it's a Mars bar. If their name was Mars bar, then it'd be a little too on the nose, wouldn't it? I don't know if there's been a stand called Tiny Dancer. I think there would be one like that. I think there's one named Limp Bizkit, though. I'm thinking like an Oingo Boingo reference called Almond Joy with a biggest story about how they got that name. Yeah, like it doesn't. But you have to think about, okay, what was Hirohiko Araki's intention for doing that? Like from a standpoint of, I'm just writing this. I don't know. Maybe he just started it once and just is like, fine, it's coming up with names is too hard. And that probably was it. Honestly, thinking up of names for shit, if you're going to have a lot of names for something, having a good rule just set in place that also kind of allows people to remember names, that's probably one of the best ideas you could do. That's looking really good, Gear, by the way.
I think it's getting there.
Like some American Western culture, Western music, you know. Gear, have you read any Western graphic novels?
Can you provide an example?
I mean, I think the difference between a Western graphic novel and a comic book is how thick the thing is, really. So, have you ever read a full comic series, or have you read a graphic novel that was written in not Japan?
No, I don't really read that kind of thing. If I'm gonna be honest, most of what I used to read was horror. I really don't like horror movies or games, but I do really like reading horror books.
Kind of books did you enjoy reading horror-wise?
A lot of Stephen King.
Bailey's on a Stephen King kick right now.
Oh, yeah? Nice.
He's reading November... Bailey, what's the name of the book? 11/23/63?
Yep, the time travel?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting one. I didn't finish that one. I read a lot of it, but I forgot where I was at one point, and I never went back, unfortunately.
I have the audiobook for The Stand.
I remember you posting the thing that said it was 80 hours or something.
47 hours,
Right.
47 minutes. So that's a lot. There's there is a period in time when Stephen King was writing back in his heyday, where he's cranking out multiple books a year.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think he has at least 83 publications under his real name and maybe others under a pseudonym.
Yeah. Who was it? Buchanan? Not Buchanan.
Bachman.
Bachman. Right. Yeah. He's got a lot.
Interestingly enough, so there's a book of his that is banned, like outright. It's called Rage, and there's very legitimate reasons for why it's banned contextually in the United States, because it has to do with like school shootings and stuff.
Interesting.
However, you can still find it in used bookstores, and me and Bailey found it. And I'm not against, the censorship of content, but I'm not going to say one way or the other if a publication wants to stop publishing a piece. That's their business decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but if it's out in the wild, and you're interested, go buy it. They shouldn't just, take it off the shelves and throw it away. Anyway, in his bookshelf at Half Price Books we go to, they have bookshelves that are locked for pricier books, right? And some of those books can be like a signed first edition of whatever book, or a really, really old copy of like Tolstoy or whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
In there was a compilation of Bachman Stephen King novels. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I wonder why that's in there, because it's only $10. And I looked up the publication on it, and sure enough, the first story in it is Rage.
I'll do it.
And I'm like, huh. Okay. So Bailey is like, I need to have it. So we bought it. And I was like, is it weird? Is it weird? I don't know. Like, it's not like, I don't know. I was reading it, and Bailey read me some passage on the way home from picking it up. It's just a Stephen King novel, to me, at least.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I think my favorite one of his is The Long Walk, though. I think they're making that into a show. Is that right? They are making a show out of it. Which, The Long Walk, if you don't know what it is, it's a short novel by Stephen King. One of his first things he ever written. And it is literally the design of the Battle Royale game genre. I fuck you not.
Yeah.
And I think it predates the Battle Royale novel. So The Long Walk is literally about last man standing sort of nonsense. It's not about like getting doing the default dance in Tomato Town.
You sure now?
Stephen King.
What if that's Stephen King's like?
That's the post. That's like people like Stephen King. You need to make more money. You can't pay off your house. I know what to do. I'm going to update the Long Walk.
Maybe that's what he does when he can't. He's like writer's block.
He plays a few rounds of Fortnite,
or just does one of the dances. Who knows?
There is a video out there of him on stage with George R.R. Martin, and George is, I think, just interviewing Stephen King. And I guess George, or it's kind of like back and forth conversation, is what those are called.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Anyway, he straight up just asks Mr. Stephen King, how the fuck do you write so much? and Stephen King is like the most whatever response. I just write one word at a time. Like, fuck you, Stephen King. George is never going to finish A Song of Ice and Fire. It's never going to end. I think you might as well not finish it. Nightquaker asks, "Hey John, the bio says one of your favorite shows is Chernobyl. Could you tell me more about the show? I might watch that one at some point."
Oh, Chernobyl's pretty good. You've seen Chernobyl, right, Zott? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
It's about obviously the Chernobyl nuclear factory meltdown. It's a drama. I believe it's only 6 episodes, so you're not going to be sitting there forever. But I thought it was really well done from a production standpoint, and I think that the drama was really well sold. There were points where I was nervous for some of the people in the show, and I usually don't get nervous like that. So I thought it was good. If you're interested in that, it's definitely worth watching.
It is not a documentary.
No,
a lot of
drama.
people
It's definitely a drama.
will harp on it because it has a lot of inconsistencies, but from the scope of there's people out there that know everything technical that happened with Chernobyl, and that type of stuff is like I've heard it's not very accurate. It is actually quite accurate from like the day-to-day events and like the generalizations made. But most people that watch it aren't gonna give a fuck about the actual pressure values and what actually like the actual logistics of the handling of that stuff, like the who talked to who, all that stuff, or like the type of equipment used, or a lot like the exact days. People don't give a fuck about that, by and large. And for the people that do care about that, that's where like a documentary or whatever would be more important. A lot of people did have complaints though about the narrative style of it. And actually, one of the most common complaints I heard was people were mad that they were non-Russian speaking, or not, or rather, they were confused why they didn't have Russian accents. And I was like, I'm glad they didn't.
that was one of the things that I was like, oh, it's kind of weird. But after a bit, you're not like, it's not super detrimental. We have an episode of the podcast where we went over it. Since we're on the podcast channel, I should probably push that forward.
We should watch the Stalker movie together.
Yeah.
It's a very, very, very good looking film for its time. It's a very slow burn film though. But is very good. Acting in it is top notch, and the set pieces are very pretty. We could do the whole shebang. We play the games. We read the original book, Roadside Picnic. It will go. It's a very good pairing with Willy Wonka. Yes. You could draw a lot of parallels between Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory and the Zone in Stalker.
Here's the actual
there are things within.
Is that how that works? Willy Wonka is a dystopian future?
It kind of is, isn't it? You're saying Willy Wonka is not a dystopian future. I don't see how it isn't. You have a man who's got the world in his grips for people wanting to see the inside of his chocolate factory.
One
people
man
spending
hasn't had his factory inspected in over 70 years.
We're gonna trade Charlie to become an FDA mole,
and
so
now,
he can get the dirt on
one
Willy Wonka.
boy must go in and check all the machines.
Check all those valves.
His name,
making
John Charlie.
Have you watched anything on Apple TV Plus?
I watched one or two things when I had like a week demo, I believe. What was that one that was a World of Warcraft dev?
Mythic Quest.
Yes.
I hear it gets better.
I sure hope it does, because I did not like the first episode.
I hear it gets better, but it's made by the creator of It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, I think Dave Cap was talking about it the other day. It wasn't for me.
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe if it gets better, but I'm not buying Apple TV Plus for that and what's that show? The Mandalorian. You know what I mean? Like
The Mandalorian's not on Apple TV Plus.
all right, that's Disney. Yeah, so
It's Disney Plus.
all right, even more so I'm not buying it for that then.
They're making a Foundation TV show, which I'm sort of interested in. And if you haven't read any Isaac Asimov stuff, then probably not for you. But thematic tie-in to Chernobyl, one of the main actors in it is the lead actor from Chernobyl.
I'm still waiting for that Fallout TV show, man.
That's on Amazon, which is interesting because that's going to have a pretty broad audience.
Yeah, I'm wondering when they're gonna start doing like media that's not like, yep, we're making it. When is Todd Howard gonna come like to do a TV commercial for it that I can watch?
You hear about the showrunner for the Halo show is like already left after they're not even doing a second season.
Oh no,
That's not uncommon for that type of stuff, but
No.
that show has been in development hell
But,
for.
yeah. This is the most tedious part of this. Is just separating all these icons. Man.
If you were to make a Fallout television show where a post-apocalyptic television is nothing new, I think you probably should go a little corny with Fallout to a certain degree. Not full slapstick, but I think the dark comedy to aspects of it should be there. Like dark, like more often than just sad, dour shit all the time. You see that all the time in post-apocalyptic shit.
I just want an episode where it's all that one vault with Gary's.
Oh yeah, it could just be Gary.
Gary. Which I think is from a different show.
You could, but you know what? That would be better as a show for me for Fallout. Instead of maybe you could have like a set characters, but it could also be a show done with set pieces in the wasteland. And so like each show could have different characters introduced and a payoff, kind of like a Black Mirror, but just in the confines of the Fallout universe. That'd be kind of neat.
That would be kind of cool. Maybe. I kind of want some more story to it than that. Maybe, but maybe it could be a mix where, you know,
Our settlement needs our help.
Yeah, every week a new settlement needs our help. I don't know. Maybe it's, you know, someone's wandering around. They keep coming across different, just like the game where some, you know, you're wandering around, you come across different things, and you know, yes, to a degree, it's kind of just like, oh yeah, you're at this one settlement for a week, but it all ties into the overarching story of this one guy. You know what I mean? And yeah, maybe he has to get into a vault to steal something, and the whole episode is him watching people candidly in the vault going through whatever, you know, whatever they're going through. I don't know.
I think they're going to just straight up do Fallout 3. Not like the story per se, but like the narrative beats of it. Like start as a kid, grow up, time skip, exit vault.
I don't know if I can fault that, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like,
if the vault shit isn't wacky, it's boring to me. Like I like the concept of the vaults as scientific experiment places rather than, hey, we're going in these to protect from nuclear fallout. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Wacky vaults.
I don't have my export as layers tool. Why is that not a thing?
Export them as a layer.
That kind of ruins my whole plan, to be honest.
I don't mean to be a player.
To export your current layer, I want to export all layers.
Have they made a high fantasy television show since I guess Witcher has. I was gonna say, do they make it? Are they working on anything past Game of Thrones, or is that like don't touch that genre anymore for a bit? The Witcher did well.
I don't know. I think The Witcher got renewed. No,
Witcher got season 2 coming out.
Yeah.
It did very well. Whether people liked it or not is irrelevant, but it did very well on Netflix. And I think from a show perspective, it targeted the right mix of audience. I like Witcher too, but I get why people disliked it. Some of their reasoning for not liking it was completely flimsy, but others were reasonable. A lot of people were complaining about how not like the games it is, and it's like, well, not the games. it's like it's not. It's a little bit more like the books, yeah.
Yeah, it's meant to not be the game, so.
I mean, I think a lot of the concerns are, and I don't know about narrative decision making from the writing, but or complete departure on characters, whatever. I think a lot of the concerns people had before the first season came out was like the production quality of everything. And honestly,
I thought it looked good except for the magic.
I think it was fairly low. I mean, good production value, but you could see the edges on things, and that's fine, as long as you can looking at the characters talking. And I spent most of the time caring about the characters. But yeah, like now they have a bigger budget. Are they gonna? Because they definitely got money thrown at them after that first season. They had to have. They got it like I guess they like fired their original costume designer. So that's a thing. I don't watch a lot of television though, especially acted television, and I never really did. Oh, I think about it. I just watch a lot of cartoons.
We discussed the trailer in 271. I don't know if we actually ever did a review of the actual Witcher. No, I don't see it here. So yeah, we must have only watched the trailer on the podcast.
If I ever make a video game property into a visual audio property, I would choose that's a thinker. I think most first-person shooter games I can think of would be a bad narrative. Because first-person shooters have bad narratives. Maybe Dishonored. The Dishonored series. That'd be a pretty good show. I watched because you could get a broader audience for that with that for sure, and they would never have played the games. Maybe BioShock. But that might be a little difficult. But definitely Dishonored. I don't know if you played Dishonored.
I played the first one. Yeah.
I haven't played the second one. I hear that one's good too.
I think. Oh no! I didn't do what I wanted to do. I wanted to export. Oh shit! It's supposed to. I didn't mean to X out it either. I wanted it to export everything as files, not as. Big things like that. Well, shoot.
I think what's important, especially when you start seeing more and more of your beloved properties get turned into something else, whether it's show or otherwise, it's important to look at the concessions that need to be made to convert one to the other from game to show or vice versa. I don't blame studios for choosing properties like that nowadays. It just does irk me that it's exquisitely rare to see a modern brand new IP like series or show or otherwise game even Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's always a gamble, but they only want to be safe. Victoria era intrigue show. There is a Victoria era. What was a Victoria era intrigue show?
What did we watch recently about? Shoot, it was that Russian one with Elizabeth the
Yeah, there's literally tons of those. Tudors, just like era dramas. Even it doesn't even like Victorian is like a slice, but like before the industrial times era drama or whatever. Era. That's a hard word. ERA. Era.
Shoot, it was a Hulu.
What was the? Starts with a B.
The Great. You might like The Great if you're looking for a Victorian. I don't know if that's Victorian era, but it's about Henry the Great's son and Catherine the Great, I guess. Is it Catherine the Great? What was her nomenclature?
I don't know.
Yeah, Catherine the Great. And it's a comedy, but it's also an intrigue one. That was interesting. I wish they hadn't left it on a cliffhanger, man. Try and find the episode we talked about it in. Oh, God.
I've been writing more notes on my little story that I'm doing. Actually, am working on a structure now. I'm reading up on writing techniques. I don't ever think this will come to a product, but it is an enjoying thing to do creative writing again. Something I thoroughly detested through school.
Yeah,
and realizing
never get me to do that.
What, to creatively write?
Yeah.
Just write for the sake of writing? Yeah.
With all the fucking dysgraphia stuff, that's like, it's torture. It's like literal torture sometimes.
Can you refresh my memory on that?
Yeah, it's kind of like
dysgraphia.
dyslexia except for writing. It's the easy way to put it.
Is it like putting pen to paper or understanding what you've written?
No, definitely putting pen to paper. I scored exceptionally higher on most things when I verbally explain it, and like far below average when I physically write it. It's I don't like.
I mean, if it's difficult to explain, that's probably a concept of it. But I get that. Is it trying to get the thought to convert to the mechanical action?
Kind of.
Or
yeah, like the thought in my head and the thought on paper don't come out the same. Like they may have the same overall like idea, but the thought that gets to paper ends up being so simplified because of the
is it wheel spinning type of
difficulty
thing?
Writing. Kind of. I mean, it's like I'm really good with my hands, you know. So it's not like it's a physical hard thing to do. It's that like mental conversion kind of.
So I have a difficulty of writing congruent thoughts down. I am very good at doing my shorthand thoughts that if I were to explain, I can explain verbally and fit the bridge between those thoughts. But actually building the bridge as I'm writing is very difficult. I am only good at getting generalized concepts out on paper, and then I have to do extra legwork to do the interconnecting thoughts between them, or the interconnecting syntax. I've always had difficulty with that. A little backstory. As I started going through college, I found that I wanted to do my papers. I just could not bring myself to type them. It wasn't like a mental block. It was I could literally just stare at the screen, and nothing could make me write anything. It wasn't coming out right. It wasn't until I just said, Bailey, can you type my papers for me? And not like her actually writing my papers for me, but actually physically typing them for me as I explained it. Yeah.
Literally that, doing the dictation. Yeah. That's something I used a lot in high school is dictation like that.
You could use is there any really good dictation for documentation software?
I always used Microsoft and did a second pass afterward, to be honest.
Microsoft Shamalam.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bailey deserves like my degrees. I swear for all the stuff. Because she was also really good at consulting on like, well, this is redundant, you know. Because when you're doing stream of thought writing, it's just like, for me, it feels like spinning wheels. And I don't know if I have something like dysgraphia, but I have always had difficulty with getting detail in what I write. I've gotten better at that, and this creative writing kick I'm on is a way for me to at least massage that skill or lack thereof. But what I really enjoy doing is thinking about lore that you're making up on your own. Something I really enjoy doing that. I don't know why.
Yeah, weirdly enough, that lore building has always been not great for me. I enjoy reading and seeing how complex things come together, but like stuff like you've played some of the Yakuza games, yeah or no?
Yeah.
So some of those plot twists, like I kind of fail to conceptualize how that could be done unless you wrote like the entire series out in one shot. You know what I mean? Like I could never come up with all that, and to have the stories like link back to each other, like with Seijima and all that.
It's all
you know what I mean?
All that stuff with detail, at least from how I understand how people write. They write the major plot beats, the skeletal pieces, and then the characters are really just to get you to those parts. That's how some people write. And if you're writing something that's constantly being written, I think they're building the planks ahead of them. I don't know. And I didn't play enough Yakuza.
I'm sure in some cases that is true, but I don't know. Just some things that how could they fit so neatly without writing out what you want from the beginning? You know what I mean?
Are you doing like a keyframe assignment right now? Is that what you're doing right now?
What I'm doing is I'm setting up to take you're watching the stream, right?
Yeah.
That background, that floating icons in the back, is actually a physics engine, and so I'm setting up
those are particle systems. Okay.
So I'm setting up all these to be able to have it just grab them off of this sheet. I just need to remember what I need to pull in to do it. In fact, I'm probably going to open up. I imported an old thing. I just haven't looked at it in forever, so I should go reopen it and see how I did it last time.
Problem with me right now is I started reading, so I've gotten to the point where I'm reading for inspiration right now for my own little story. And I even contacted a local artist that's going to do some key art for me for a little set piece I've written, just so I can continue and feel special or whatever about it. And I'm reading this series called Hyperion by Dan Simmons. It's a 4-book series. And I was just recommended. It's just like, it's one that's not super late 70s era where they were spinning ideas a lot. Like it was like Moonray shit. Not right, space race and a little bit grounded, and then there's like the super cosmic stuff. I want something a little bit more modern. And this Hyperion novel was written in 89, 82, something like that. And it's written in a really interesting way. And I don't know if you know anything about the Canterbury Tales. That's early English lit. Not even technically legible if you're trying to read the original. Canterbury Tales is a series of tales about people going on a pilgrimage, and each person on the pilgrimage gives their own little story that links them to the now.
That sounds very familiar. I have not watched it. I haven't read it in so long.
Doesn't matter if you've read it. Doesn't matter. Think of it as a literary hook. Okay, you have a group of people that's in a current state. That's your main thread plot, and the actual bulk of the story is people recounting how they hook into the story. And so it's told in tales. And this is how that book, Hyperion, at least the first book, works. So you have like the now story, the current, and then each character that's taking part of this pilgrimage, quote unquote, is recollecting something that kind of gives the rest of the characters some knowledge. Anyway, there's also a secret asshole in the group, like a spy. But it takes place in the super far future. And it's basically it's kind of creepy because it called out a lot of things, like scary. The way, like, here's some lore bits that I'll take out randomly. In Hyperion, human society is spacefaring and can travel, but the series does take into account time dilation. So let's say if you were to go to a really far away planet and you traveled there, you would have a time debt compared to your companions, right? Or people left behind.
Makes sense.
And so that is like effectively a currency in this, not even currency, just like a socioeconomic status you could have, where some people, they have the ability, if they're rich or well off, they can travel very quickly and go back, so they'd have less. There is light speed, but it's done through portals. And see, even if it's done through portals, you still have a time debt technically. It's weird. Anyway, there's also generic space travel that's just really sub-light speed. Anyway, so that's one concept. The other concept is human society is part of what's called the hegemony, or I don't know, hegemony. Hegemony.
I've heard of that from Ender.
Orson Scott Card stuff. Yeah. It's basically the current human culture or society and current how things are operating. The way they dictate democracy, at least from how I understand it, or make decisions as a group, since everyone's scattered everywhere, right? And there's a time dilation and everything. They have these things called fat lines, which are ways to transmit data faster than light. That's called fat lines. And a lot of the decision making for politics is done through what's called the all thing. And it's literally, in concept, it's internet culture making decisions. Like, it's like if everyone were hooked into a system and could vote on something, it's like them, the equivalent of them voting on their phone.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And like, that's how politics, upvote your Reddits. Yeah, basically. And that's how decisions are made in the hegemony. And it's called the all thing. Global Reddit. So that's cool because and it also says they're part of the World Web. Now keep in mind, this book was written in 1989. So World Web was a concept, but not widely seen as this is the future sort of thing. So for a writer to use that as a part of his story, as like this is the future, and have it kind of stick, is pretty neat. The only other thing that's really cool in it thus far is there's a character in the book that is called the Shrike, which is a name of a bird. And if you don't know what a shrike is in real life, this bird is pretty fucking gruesome, pretty metal. The shrikes, or species of shrikes, will pick up what they want to kill and then impale them on like thorny bushes and then tear them apart. That's what a shrike does. Anyway, there is an entity in this series called the Shrike, and it's basically a thing that can break the laws of any known physics and be anywhere it wants. But just so happens it's stuck in this area on a planet called Hyperion near the time tombs. And basically he's not allowed to leave because there's an entropy field around there with how time works. Anyway, the big MacGuffin or the big move or ticking time bomb is the entropy field is expanding, and it will fuck everyone up. And the Shrike can teleport, it can skip through time. So if it wanted to kill you yesterday, it could. And yeah, and then he's just
do what you want. Kind of.
It is. He is a literary device, not a character. But he makes sense. But you'll start seeing, from what I understand, later in the books, it's like the guy's building his bridge ahead of himself. The writer is. But I think it inspires I think this might have inspired the concept of Rocco's basilisk. If you don't know what that is, it is a thought experiment. THOTT. Rocco's basilisk is about. Oh, do you not want to talk about Rocco's basilisk? Because some people. Oh, I'll tell. If some people actually are concerned about those kind of weird thought experiences, gives them the heebie-jeebies. Okay, Rocco's basilisk is basically, what if in the far, far off future we create, or society or whoever is ahead of us creates an entity that's basically God, right? And or maybe it's a perfect system, rather, a perfect AI, and has the ability to deconstruct and reconstruct reality to its will. What happens if you become aware of Rocco's basilisk in the past and sees you as an inefficient part of its system? Would it go back in time and ensure that you neither existed or otherwise live in immense pain? So your choices as an individual in the past knowing about Rocco's basilisk is you either have to decide to go against it, which would harm you in inevitability, or you must actively work to bring about its existence, to have you be seen as a positive part of the system. And I didn't explain that very well, but this character, the Shrike, seems to be a representation of something like that. A spooky all-being that can cause you great immense harm and whatnot. How could you become aware of something in the future? Well, the concept is, this is like, if Rocco's basilisk exists, this concept is a thought. You're now aware of it, right? And so if it were to come to fruition, or if it's an inevitability, now that I've explained it to you, it's like the game. That you remember that game that everyone loses? That's something like that. Right, exactly. Some people use AI, some people use it. I think other people have used it as a concept for God, but those kind of big sci-fi, hyper-futurist thought, games or whatever. I like that shit. Oh, you got him falling.
Yeah, I gotta make him not be so small.
I guess if it can manipulate space, time, and reality, how would you even resist? That's part of the questioning on it. Yeah. How could you even resist? Well, or rather, why would you even exist to resist? Like, would it even let you exist to resist? It's not inefficient to create something that's not anyway. Why even go through the effort of it making you exist if you weren't going to help it? So that's kind of like being your own grandpa situation. That's looking good. To just add one emote that falls in with it. I think I saw Titanfall 2 was only like $7. I don't know if it's still available. The sale might be over.
Titanfall?
Titanfall 2, yeah.
Timefall or Titanfall?
Titanfall 2
Okay,
is
I don't-
$5.99 right now.
On Steam?
Yeah.
Will you link it to me so I can see it afterward?
Oh.
Thank you.
Titanfall 2. $5.99. Get it now.
Vlad, you think I'm reading chat?
I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, I'm right. Up there.
Does I already own the game? But I
No, we own the demo.
don't. So do I have to delete the demo? Did they just give it to me?
Hate me, dude.
Fuck. Weird. Says I can install it right now. The fuck? 63 gigabits. Was it free for good? I thought it was just a free play period.
Yeah, same.
Because it's showing.
I thought it was just for a certain amount of time. Was it free forever?
I'm allowed to install it right now, but that could be through the EA Origin nonsense. Letting me install it.
Well,
Titanfall had a free,
is it also
It's
another
not-
free weekend right now?
but it's not letting me install it or buy it even. Yeah, I wanted to play through the single player, but I didn't want to just do it over the free weekend. God damn it! Just let me buy your game. Do I have EA Play Pass? No. No, sir. It will not let me purchase for myself. I saw Anime Girl on there.
Where?
It was on like a sidebar, I swear. I did. My eyes are
Yeah, let me
deceiving.
buy it for me. I don't know what's going on with you, man.
Maybe it got broken. My Steam play. I
Lucky you,
uninstalled
you own
it.
Oh, that's the summer sale anime. I don't know.
Oh.
You sound disappointed, like. Oh,
Well, it could just not authorize me on EA Origin or whatever. You still have to play through Origin.
I'll take the $6.
Now I got to download the thing. Wanted to play it. Hey, this happened to me earlier. This sort of situation where I got something, but I technically hadn't paid for it, and it just makes it more difficult. This is a very first world whiny thing I'm going to talk about now. Because whatever, that's all I'm good for. I re-signed up for school. I'm in grad school now, and I missed the deadline to get my work to pay for this summer semester. So I would have to pay out of pocket. I was like, I'll do it, whatever. I just want to get started. Then I was like, oh wait, maybe I shouldn't, because we need to get some house repairs done. Well, that might be better used otherwise. So I pull out, but I had paid it. The money was already paid for, but they let me refund because its classes hadn't even started yet. It was a full refund. But in that period of time that paid the activity fee for using the gym on campus, as a staff member, you don't get free access. You had to pay. Since I paid the rec fee, I not only had access to the gym, I also had access to the new esports room, which is fucking cool.
That's very interesting.
They refunded me, but the money had already gotten to the bank, but the rec services people lag by a whole business week. Oh yeah, as a student, you have to pay for rec services. Yep.
That's not uncommon, to be honest.
It is not uncommon either.
Pretty standard.
Higher education costs are a little bogus. But you can't choose just to say, well, I'm not going to use the gym. Too bad. Depends on where you go. Some places, it's interesting. Some schools I've heard, part of your student fees, you got your tickets to games as part of that fee.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not like where I work, where you have to get a lottery to get tickets to our sports events. Very interesting. Anyway, I went to the gym and I was like, I'd like to sign in, but I don't think I have access because, I was waiting on a refund. And they're like, no, you're available. You can go in. And it's like, but I technically didn't pay for it. So I was like, I don't want to go in here for free knowing full well I'm getting it for free unless you say it's okay. And they said, yeah, it's fine.
They probably don't.
You can go. And I was like, but this is theft. As much as like it is totally approved, I'm like, I don't want to deal with the bullshit that might come if it's a gym. Like they're losing no money.
Are they gonna ask you to not come back? Like you're fine.
Universities are theft. I mean, that's a loaded statement, man. My job probably is my theft. That's a loaded statement. I don't disagree that the higher education system, from a monetary perspective, is broken, but that is such a wild beast on how those prices get jacked up, and a lot of it isn't the university's decision. In fact, tuition is rarely the university's decision. It's the local government's. Is how that works. But yeah, tuition prices are bogus. I'm not going to disagree with that. But that being said, the research that universities do, very important, so long as, they're accredited and doing things ethically, by the book. They're not just releasing, I got to write this book. I need you to buy this book. I wrote this book. Take my class. I wrote this book. Please buy this book.
I've been in those. Fucking music theory, man.
I wrote this book. Please buy this book.
Textbook. It's the same textbook where they were taking his
It's
intro
not even a
course
book. They don't even bind them together.
or his level 4000 course. Like,
It's a packet of paper, $400. I wrote that.
we didn't bind it to make
that.
it easier for you to put it in your binder.
For you make it impossible to sell again. I had a great time going to university because I didn't pay for it though. So, I mean, I paid for it.
Yeah, you paid for it non-monetary.
I paid for it in a very different way. I paid for it in aging quicker. I know a lot of people that got screwed. In fact, I have a lot of students that work for me who I try to help out in best ways to make sure that they can mitigate. Yeah, I had GI Bill. I had the super GI Bill. Super rare version of it. It was a hollow card. I had the one where they give you more money. Than just the average GI Bill. It was a special flavored one, Code Red. No, I had access to the pre-9/11 one. For y'all who don't know what the GI Bill is, hey, you signed up for the military, we'll ensure that all the awful stuff that may or may not happen to you due to that, you get to go to school for free. Please join the military. That's what that is for. It's an incentive that you get, and so long as you complete certain check boxes, you get the GI Bill. GI Bill is one of the most economically successful government programs to date. It has a return on an investment of like 3 times. It is super potent. Anyway, you get money to go to school. They pay for they give you like a check of like $1,200 a month to pay for school generically that you can pay out of pocket for, or they'll directly pay your fees and your books and then give you a little stipend. I had the one because I'm a disabled veteran. I got the one that says, we'll pay for your tuition, we'll pay for your books, we'll pay you monthly, just extra money, and you're also eligible for federal benefits still. Like, severely broken program and extremely helpful, but the fact that you have to go through the military for it is, I am not 100%, I'm 70%. 70% is, 30% is the cutoff for that program, not 70. Anyway, that paid for 48 months of school and not taken in order, so I could take breaks and it wouldn't count against it. I was going to say, you're enjoying no property taxes? I wish. Nope. I am extremely lucky with my current situation, all things considered, from my military experience, and I don't like to use the term blessed, but I am very lucky and in some ways extremely privileged. But I used all the extra money I had from all that to pay for my wife's school because she wasn't getting that shit for free. But then I hear horror stories of like $100,000 in debt, and I go, "What the fuck?"
You ever look up how much it costs to go to where I went to school?
I mean, I looked up how much it costs to go to my dad's old school. My dad went to Purdue. He also went to Rose-Hulman Technical College. And this was he went back in like, God, 60s? And it was, I don't remember, I think it was like a few grand, like $2,000 or whatever. It's like $22,000 a semester or some ridiculousness. Those are private schools. Well, I don't know. Purdue's public, right?
I'm not sure.
Rose-Hulman is not. And honestly, if you're going to a private college, especially, you know, you better hope you're not paying out of pocket for that. You hear about the ITT Technical College lawsuit?
No.
They basically straight up lied about their employment placement numbers. And the students sued.
I'm surprised.
Oh, yeah. Penn Tech University, $16K a semester. 16 to $20K a semester is like pretty normal, especially if you're out of state. There is no question that the way students are expected to go to college and the costs involved with it is not consistent. That's for sure. But you can get into the esports room with that. You get into the esports room. What the hell are you watching, Bailey? Oh, Bailey's watching Breaking Bad.
Oh, shit. It's been really long. I really need to rewatch it, actually.
Need to cook gear.
Jesse. Gotta cook.
I want pizza. I think I'm going to attempt to make New York style pizza in my oven.
I'm a fan of the cast iron pizza, to be honest.
Like pan pizza?
Kinda. Yeah, where you take your cast iron, you cook any meats in it, and then you put some vegetable oil in it while it's nice and hot, and put the dough down, and you do it on the burner until it gets kind of crispy on the bottom. Then you add your sauce and cheese. And
are you taking the meat out before you put the dough in?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking.
No.
I'm thinking your bread is embedded with meat, which I'm not against.
No. That would be kind of cool, but no, I'm not. I'm not saying that.
I think there was a frozen pizza that did that, where there was pepperoni embedded in the bottom of it. Let me tell you, frozen pizzas are very, very popular here in the Midwest. And I found out why. It's because we're in the land of meat and cheese. And that what better way to sell all those products together than pizza. And that's why Iowa is always in the gunning for most pizza places per capita. Even though I'm pretty sure the Italian population of Iowa is negative. Sorry to the Italian people of Iowa, but I can't. That was rude. Pepperoni chip pizza. That just sounds weird. Pepperoni chip cookie dough.
No. You brown the meats so that the oils.
The oil. Yeah. I get it. You add a little fennel seeds in the bottom. Is what I would do.
Yeah, I'm not.
Here, when are we doing our road trip to Sweetwater?
We gotta wait for Canada to open up again. No.
We gotta wait for that Delta variant that the news is talking about. We gotta wait for booster shot 3. We gotta wait for the roadblocks between Canada. We guess we do have to go through Canada.
We don't have to, but
I would like to. I think it would be a waste of. I mean, let's be honest. Do we really want to drive through Ohio?
No.
I would happily go out of my way to not drive through Ohio or Pennsylvania. Specifically Western Pennsylvania and all of Ohio. Nothing too much against Pennsylvania, but everything against Ohio. Actually, my least favorite state is Kentucky.
Is there a reason behind that? It seems awfully...
Oh, yes, absolutely. 100% justified reason for hating Kentucky. Kentucky killed my car! Kentucky killed my car! Asterisk.
Is that the one where you...
Bailey was driving.
Oh, well. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the one where... I know we discussed it. I don't know if you want me to talk about it.
Which one?
The one where you flipped it?
Oh, no, I wasn't driving. Bailey was.
I know. Well, the one where you were in it and it flipped is more.
Yeah, I can talk about it. This is why I hate Kentucky. That's the whole point of the story. This is the story.
Know if you don't want to talk about it.
This is the story.
I don't want to talk about it if you're like, I don't want to talk about it.
Why
you know
I hate Kentucky. Specifically the city-state area of Berea, Kentucky. That place can go to hell. Berea, Kentucky is somewhere in Kentucky. I don't even care to look it up on a map. I know I won't be driving through there ever again. So we were driving back from Iowa. This is right around the Skyrim release date. I know this because I had my Skyrim Special Edition box with Alduin's statue in the back, along with my Skyrim Strategy Guide hardcover. And we were driving back to South Carolina from my parents. I think it was Thanksgiving. It was raining. My wife was driving. She attempted to change lanes. Car started to hydroplane, and she locked up. She didn't know what to do. On top of it, it was her first time driving a rear-wheel drive vehicle. So the way you counteract steering is very different than for what she's used to driving, which is a front-wheel drive vehicle. Was on 4-lane, 3-lane going south through Kentucky. Car got backwards. The front driver's side caught something rough, and that's what caused the tumble into the ditch. And then we tumbled into a ditch. The nicety of this accident was we could have been driving my wife's car, which was a 2008 bare bones Toyota Corolla. We were driving my 2001 BMW 530. I bought that car for $7,000. It was my first car I ever bought. A decent amount of miles on it, but I love that car. Love it to death. And yes, all the quintessential BMW driver stuff might have applied from a certain age, but I got over it. Anyway, if we were driving my wife's Corolla, we would have been way more injured than my older vehicle, the BMW. So I found out is my wife's Corolla did not have side impact airbags.
Oh, interesting.
And yeah, my BMW had that and more. Also, the frame on the BMW is way tougher. Other structural, things involved with the sedan style that would have saved it. The crumpling of the roof and all that. The car was held together. Like, in fact, it wasn't twisted or anything. It was just fucked up, like bad. And it landed on, I want to say it landed on the driver's side. I can't remember now. I was asleep right up until the spin and Bailey started screaming, justifiably. And I think part of the reason why I did not get injured at all was because I was in between a sleeping and waking state, and your body's a little bit more limber in that period.
That's a proven thing. That's what people who are semi-asleep
like
or
drunk drivers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bailey, on the other hand, did not fare as well. She got her head busted up on the sunroof, and it pulled out some of her scalp. And then she, through somehow landing her one way or the other, the steering wheel hit her pelvis and broke it.
Oh.
Yeah. That's my theory, at least, based on her fracture. Anyway, that happened. Crash happened. We get out. Here are some factors that were involved with that crash. In that crash, I was bringing home one of my firearms. It was a Beretta CX4 Storm. If you don't know what that kind of gun is, I'm not going to type it in chat, but you can look it up. Anyway, that was in the trunk of my car at the crash. And as we crashed, people showed up, people stopped, people helped us out. All the people that were around us were very helpful. And let me be very clear. I just don't like the state of Kentucky, geographically, and how things are set up. The people that stopped, they could have been from outer state, who knows, driving through. The people themselves were nice, period. Nothing against the people, to a certain degree. And they helped out. And there's a lot of blood on me, apparently. And not so much on Bailey. That could have been because she had longer hair back then. Anyway, they're checking her out. The paramedics checking her out. We're getting checked out. I had a little oil burns on me, actually. They were worried about all the blood on me, and they got checking me out. And Bailey's all like, "Is he okay? Is he okay?" Because she cares about me, and we're married. And then the paramedic just says, "Oh no, he's fine. All the blood that's on him is yours."
Oh no!
Fucking hell. So that was a thing, and so it turns out Bailey, she had like a chunk of her scalp got kind of pulled out in the impact, her head hitting the roof line or the liner or whatever, and that was part of it. Or glass. It could have been glass. I'm not really sure. Anyway, I go to the hospital, and I put hospital in the most massive of air quotes I can fathom.
It was a Denny's / hospital in Kentucky.
Fuck you. That's funny because I'll get into the concept. It. I guarantee you the structure of it was FEMA trailer like. Mm-hmm. It was a larger building, but I only remember a hallway, and I don't even remember the name of this place. Anyway, we just sit there. We're just sitting in the waiting room for stuff to get checked out. They don't check me out at all. At all. Like, don't check for concussion at all. They check Bailey out because she has blood on her. That's it. And they're like, yeah, you got some lacerations. Go sit and wait. We have to wait for Bailey's family to come up from Huntsville, Alabama. And we're in the dead center of Kentucky. And so we have to wait for them. We have nowhere to go. In the meantime, I have to coordinate the logistics of getting the shit from my car from the local towing place. And I wanted to bring up the concept of the firearm that I had in there. Because once I got a bearing of where I was like, the first thing that's getting taken out of my car is that gun. If someone were to just lose something. I was like, I told the cops as we were out there, like, there is a gun in my car. Can you please make sure that doesn't get stolen? Right? There is a gun in my car. Please ensure that it doesn't just go up and missing. Anyways, I get on the call with the towing company. They got my number from the police. And I don't think I ever told this to Bailey, but during the call, he mentioned about, we could check your trunk and stuff for things. We could bring it to you. To which I said, and I'm so happy I was lucid, no, don't worry about that, because I don't want what's in the car being seen. Not that it was illegal or anything, but I don't like the concept of people I don't know being near, one, my personal shit, but most importantly, my personal gun.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So I was like, no, we'll wait. He's like, well, how long you gotta wait? I ain't got time. It's like, you don't have time. This is your job. Like, you're gonna get paid by insurance. Like, whatever. Don't have time. And so he gives me his Kentucky version of the directions to his place when I still have 4.5 hours to wait to go get my car. And here are the directions from what I remember. From what him explaining. I'm on the phone with him. I'm like, okay, I'm ready for your directions. I can use the address. I can use GPS. He's like, nah, your GPS, that stuff doesn't work out here. So I'm going to give you my directions. I'll give you the address at the end of this, but it's not going to be worth your time. I'm telling you. So here's what you're going to do. Oh, wait. And keep in mind, I'm in a hospital with my wife bleeding from her scalp while this is happening because they didn't actually give her stitches to fix her fucked up scalp. And I'll get into the fucked up scalp in a second because it happens after the phone call. He says, as you're leaving the hospital, you're going to go southbound on Route 218. Now, a lot of people think they're going to be on upward, he said like northbound Route 25, but you're actually on 218. That will split off. It splits off. Like, okay, whatever. And then as you go over the overpass, over 75, you're going to go west a bit, and then you're going to see some houses and some trailers. And as you're heading up past these trailers, you're going to eventually go uphill. You also see the abandoned KFC on the right. After you see the abandoned KFC, look up to your left, and at the crest of the hill, you will see your car. You won't miss it. It's the only BMW in the area.
Great.
That's the gist of the story. So, and I'm thinking visually, what is this going to look like? Whatever. So we sit there and wait. Bailey begins to bleed down her forehead, like on her face, and starting to look like a horror character, a horror movie survivor. Anyways, I'm like, can we see a doctor or whatever? I'm trying to find somebody. There's no one like there. There's not like people there. It felt like I was in Silent Hill to that regard from the hospital's perspective. A janitor rolls by, notices and sees my wife bleeding from her forehead. She's like, oh, we need to get you something for that. She walks off, comes back with a wet rack for her to hold against her whip. It's like, oh, at least we won't be charged on that on our insurance. You know.
Cost extra if it's wet.
We sit there. I'm like head and knees tired. We're all wet, by the way. It's raining this whole time, so we're out in the rain, and all our clothes are soaked wet. She was wearing scrubs the whole time. She didn't have clothes on. And then, as we're waiting, we got to witness, from a very odd perspective, the hallucinations of being post-accident and the local flora and fauna that entered the building for treatment. And like of the local deer? Flora and fauna. No, like people.
Oh, okay.
And one group of people came in. They had like a fucked up leg. And they're like groaning in pain. They got seen pretty quickly. I was like, I was worried about them. Another individual comes in who's like making groaning noises. A very large individual who is wearing what I thought was just suspenders, like overalls. Mm-hmm. But there was, in fact, a sleeveless t-shirt in there somewhere. In all of it.
Sucked into the folds?
It was very, like, threadbare. Denim overalls, yes. He comes in, and he's with, I don't know. I don't want to say his lady, but a female individual was there with them.
A lady.
A lady. And he just is, like, groaning. And then the janitor comes by a few other times, and he's still groaning. And then it starts to sound like heavy breathing. And it's and he's like, and then the janitor comes back and he's like, "You all right?" He's like, "Can I have your bucket?" Oh. Takes the bucket and like no transition, immediately starts vomiting. No build up. It was like, "Can I have your bucket?" Bucket handoff.
I mean, sometimes when you know what's coming up, man.
The janitor's the GP. Just keeping things orderly with it. Just one very quick movement. And it wasn't... He obviously felt it coming, which made me wonder if he was just holding it off until he knew the janitor would come back with a bucket. Mm. Like, he could hold it off till then. He's just that experienced. Everything after that is a blur. Then finally, Bailey's parents show up. And we're like, get us the fuck out of here. I don't even really... I almost like, let's just go. But I was like, no, there's a lot of important stuff in that car. And so I give him the GPS coordinates to this place. And sure enough, GPS coordinates got us right there. No problem. Fucking had no issues getting to us for it. We didn't have to worry. It was like, oh, there's the KFC he was talking about. But the GPS worked fine.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he was not joking. My car was like a weird fucked up gem on the hill, and everything else was in the back. And it was just sitting on the hill. The rest of the cars were in the back and locked up. And then I was like, oh, he left the car out because he didn't want to come over to unlock the gate for us.
Of course not.
And then I called him. I was like, "Where's the key?" He's like, "Oh, I left it under a rock."
As
And
one
sure enough,
does.
he left.
I mean,
as what you do. You left it on a rock. And so we get it all open. The car's fucked up. I start crying. You know, I got the badge, the front nose badge of my car off, and I still have that to this day. The BMW logo. And then we went through all this stuff. And I was like, okay, my Skyrim Special Edition Dragon, fucked up, blasted. My Skyrim hardcover book, covered in water, expanded, all stuff, whatever, I'll keep it. Let's just take stuff that we need. Grabbed all the important documents out of the car. We got most of the stuff. I think there's a few things I missed. We had just gotten an iPad mini, shattered, fucking completely busted, and then that was encased. That one irked the heck out of me.
yeah.
I think we had most of this covered by insurance. And then I was like, oh yeah, the gun. And I had a lot of difficulty getting that trunk open. Gun was still there, but it was really wet. Like, and the inside of the box was wet with a gun. And I figure the cops opened it up, looked at it. That's my theory, at least. Or the cops or whoever took it opened up the trunk, looked at it, and then closed it.
Yeah,
like
that makes
the
sense.
Interior, yeah, and I'm like, just leave it there, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't own that gun anymore. I sold that shit. But yeah, we had to arrive back to Alabama. I had to like put an extra days of leave in with the military. It's like, I'm not going back right now. And anyway, so Bailey was saw by a doctor, from what I understand, when we were in Berea, Kentucky.
Dr.
And
Juan Eater.
A doctor. And I think she was given like some painkiller. Her parents were skeptical, to say the least, of the care of what she got, and we were kind of bitching about it anyway. So right when we get into Alabama, she's taken to the Huntsville hospital, like a legitimate hospital. And she was complaining about pain. Up until this point, she thought she was fine. Fine-ish. They do some x-rays on her. It's like, one, maybe concussed. Two, your pelvis is broken in like 2 spots. Which was a legitimate surprise, because you'd think the first hospital would get that. But no. And I that's what really pissed me off, because like, if we didn't have the funds or the support to go to a hospital again,
Sure. That could have gotten really bad.
yeah, adrenaline wore off. What? Yeah, for sure. I mean, sleep deprivation, whatever you want to call it. But I have to Hell's Hallway. Yeah, I don't. Something about Kentucky. Now I like driving through portions of Kentucky, like the thin bit of it.
Let's see. Pictures of the crash I was in.
See it.
I put them in Discord as well, but this is out in California. We were in the HOV lane, which is where we are, and this guy, traffic backed up, and he didn't want to hit the person in front of him, so he went out in front of us, and we pushed him down the fucking road like so far, because we were going 60 something miles an hour in the HOV lane, and he was at almost a dead stop, and we basically hit him like that. And this was the guy I was with's personal car, and this was the third one he had because this is the third time. That happened to him twice already. This is the third time it happened to him.
Car blindness or whatever.
That gave me some major bruises across my chest. Airbags didn't go off, but tire angle of the
thing
tire
got shredded. Oh, jeez. Is that a Ford Transit?
I think it might have been big long.
Yeah, it looks like a Ford Transit.
Where is it again? This, yeah.
Or yeah.
Was not fun.
Oh. No, it looks like an Edge. It's hard to tell. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I re-up or downloaded all the pictures I had from Facebook before I deleted it, and I think I have that somewhere in like a repo in the book. Let me look at my NAS real quick, see if I can find it.
It's not the Transit. It's not quite as big as the Transit. It's a little bit more of like a family car than you know what I mean? It's not quite as big and boxy. All the ones I'm seeing that look like it are like the 2021, 2022 models. It's not that. It would have been 2015, 2016. But yeah, I mean, he had decaling work done for the company. Like, it was his car, but he put the money into it to get it all decaled and shit for the company. And the third fucking time it happened to him. I agree, Ware. I'll gladly take the seatbelt bruises. I'm kind of glad the airbags didn't go off because I didn't really want to get smacked in the face with an airbag. But thankfully the car didn't go up. We pushed him instead of it going up. I had to basically open the door and push it with my legs to open it, though. It was it was not opening. I mean, you could see the. Obviously, this is after I left it, but you could see how the door is folded over itself right here. I basically had to bend this out with my legs, you know, because it wouldn't open. The tire is all up where the door should be and all that, so.
Shit.
And you know, he was pinned. Not he was pinned, but his door was pinned against the divider, so he couldn't get out till I got out. And I was like, I'm not fucking getting out. There's people in the lane next to us going 60. You know, like I'm waiting for the cops to get here. And the other guy got out of his car and came over to make sure we were all right. And I was like, yeah, we're good, but just get in your car, dude. Like,
here.
Yeah,
I got something for you.
Are you okay with that plate being in there?
I mean, I don't have it anymore, so.
Okay, as long as you're all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Better shot of it.
That's all crunchy, man.
I'm really surprised at how well the thing held up, considering it flipped twice.
Interesting that your windshield split like that. I don't know if I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen anything split. Usually it breaks but stays together. You know, they're kind of designed to do that like that.
The car.
Yeah, it's not in good shape.
Yeah, that'll buff out. Very, very good pictures from 2011.
Oh, I keep backing up my phone to my NAS, and I'm like, one day I'll go delete all the garbage work pictures I don't need or whatever, and I haven't, and it's like 200 something gigs out of our terabyte NAS.
I'm actually trying to look for that same model car and see how much it goes for. 2001 to 2003 BMW 530i. Let's see how much.
Carvana.
Let's see.
Oh no! Did this freeze? Oh, it's been doing this to me. Dang it!
Bring a trailer is what I'd look at. I don't know if you ever looked at Bring a Trailer.
No, that sounds interesting though. Just come pick it up.
No, it's an auction site that's meant for car enthusiasts. It's quite nice.
I think that crashed. Damn it.
No reserve, 2002 BMW 530i 5-speed. How much do you think? Oh my god.
I don't know anything about car pricing, man.
$12,000. Oh.
12,000? Wow.
Oh no. That hurts. 2002. Oh man. Oof. Man. Old car market is bad right now, isn't it?
I mean, if you're selling, it's good. Freaking dealers and everyone's buying cars higher than they sold them than they were selling because there's a real deficit of used cars right now.
Oh my god. An 27,000 mile BMW sport wagon of the same era. It's so light miles. Do people not drive their cars?
I think it depends on where they are. I mean, if it's a city car, they probably don't put a lot of miles on it, but they put a lot of idle, you know?
Yeah.
And if they're out by like you, they probably put a lot of miles, but they're all highway miles, you know?
The bullshit, it's gravel miles. Fuck
yeah. All right, gravel miles.
No, yeah, it's true. It's highway miles, but I think the average miles driven annually by Iowans is like 14,000 miles, which is a lot.
I don't remember what
you filled up your gas tank 4 times in a year. Fuck you.
Where? I fill mine up 4 times a week, man. No, not that bad. Probably twice a month I fill mine up. Depends on if I go to my parents or not.
I get there's gas up perks through the grocery store we get our groceries from. Through all our grocery delivery we've been doing, I managed to get almost $1 off a gallon of gas at the tank.
Wow.
Yeah. But I use that. I mean, if I want to get to the next major city where things occur, I have to drive 35 miles. Like, that's standard. If I want to go home to see my parents in the same state, I have to drive 110 miles. And if I'm doing that every other weekend, which I do, a lot of miles. I think I had more driving under my belt. I must have, you know what? I must have had around probably 14,000 miles worth of driving under my belt before I turned 16. I was driving to school at the ripe age of 14 years old. I drove a Dodge Spirit, burgundy on burgundy.
I don't know why I can't get this to start going. I probably have to restart. So,
what'd you do?
I don't know. I was doing this to me yesterday too, where it froze midway through, and restarting it worked, but right now I can't seem to get it to start again.
You know, it's weird now, Where Ducky. I am 5 minutes from work by walking. 10 minutes, really.
Let's do the, yeah.
And I still find myself driving to work. A piece of shit. For what's worth, when me and Bailey were both going to work, I'd have to drive her, and her walk is an extra 10 minutes. So, you know
what? With the heat, I don't blame you.
Yeah. Well, it's either the heat. Walking in the fall is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. I love walking in the fall. In fact, I hope for it. I love walking. I fucking love fall. Fucking love it. But not walking in 90-degree, 100% humidity. No, thank you. That's why I'm looking at bikes right now, Gear. That's my new thing. I want to throw money. No, bicycle. I don't. Okay. There's been a lot of motorcycle deaths, and I know enough about motorcycles to know I don't think I'm ready to do that yet.
I'm glad to hear that. I don't want you to do that either.
I have a bike ready for me to ride, and my mother was a motorcycle safety instructor, and I've been around motorcycles. But man, do people just not see them on the road?
Yeah, I say I see a lot of people not seeing motorcyclists, and I also see a lot of motorcyclists not making great choices, especially around here. I'm sure it's less so in the more rural areas, but I think
Iowa is one of the
bad people, man.
Also, Iowa's one of the, I don't know how many states require it, but I know Iowa's one of the states that doesn't require you to have a helmet.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why there's a lot of motorcycle deaths here in general. Because most riders I see on the road are not wearing a helmet. Which I think that is
that's not
fucking stupid.
That's not good at all.
I'm sorry if you ride a motorcycle and don't wear a helmet, but I'm still going to hold the opinion that if you're riding a thing going very fast, you trust yourself and everyone else way too much. Or you have a death wish, which in that case, I don't know.
Don't put that guilt on somebody else, though.
I'm not putting the guilt on. I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying you as a rider, don't do that. You know what I mean?
You trust the laws of physics way too much, or don't understand the laws of physics. Have a complete failure of understanding how that works. Right? Don't bring other people. Don't ride with other people like that. Or, I don't know if it's. I don't think it's gotten to the point like you're a loser for if you wear a helmet. I don't think that's a thing. And if it is, it's very isolated, with knuckleheads and whatnot. But there is a concept. Oh, I like to feel the wind in my hair. Blah blah. It's too hot.
I want to say,
etc. They're
society.
They're arguments.
I hope we'd realize the benefits of wearing a helmet, but
yeah, no disagreement. But at the same time, the same goes for just riding normal bicycle.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the law here. Is that you got to wear a helmet for normal bicycle too?
Nope, not here. And I mean, if they're not going to require it on a motorcycle, they're definitely not going to require it on a bicycle. The thing is, I want to get an electric mid-drive bike with pedal assist. I don't think I want one with like an actual throttle because it puts it in a different class of vehicle.
Interesting.
Which is, yeah.
Bicyclists under 14 in New York. But yeah, the laws for electronic vehicles like e-bikes and stuff are weird in New York as well. It can be a pedal assist. It cannot be
throttle.
Yeah. Which is
understandable.
Yeah, because that turns it into a different class, I think.
But there's no way for them to know by looking at a bike.
No, there's not.
If it's throttle or pedal assist, unless they see the throttle on them, whichever they're very low profile. In fact, there was a throttle I've seen that looks like the bell of a bike.
That's pretty funny.
But no, I would get pedal assist just for, if I wanted a moped, I'd get a moped. And that's Iowa's legal gray zone for that all.
I wanted to make like an electronic bike. I thought that would be a cool project to do. And unfortunately, it seems like unless you really want to buy one of the in-hub motors and just do the electronics, there's no good way to do that.
So if you're going to do mid-drive, you have to buy a completely separate frame or be smart enough or stupid enough to modify your frame. Mm-hmm. But Iowa is a very big biking state, believe it or not. There's a lot of bike trails, and you can go from all the major cities just on bike trail alone. First, not like across hundreds of miles, but there is actually a biking event in Iowa called Ragbri. I don't know if it's still called that. I think they changed ownership, especially with COVID. But Ragbri stands for the Register's Annual Great Bike Ride Across Iowa. It's a tradition where a shitload of bikers bicyclists will dip their rear tires in the Missouri River on the west side of Iowa and then ride their bikes all the way to the Mississippi River and either dip their front tires in the Mississippi River, or more commonly, they throw their whole fucking bike in there and go grab it. And then they'll trip on there, they'll list the cities that they hit. And it's like, take like Hell's Angels, right? Bicycle gang, you know, they're fucking people up, whatever. But then flip it on its head, and it's all people who have enough time to bike with a group of friends, go drinking at night, and not work for a whole 2 weeks. And so that is a mixture of people who are like, you know, free-spirited, you know, self-doers, to yuppies, basically. And so much so that they have groups like teams, and they'll have a team bus, and then they go to these towns and they like economically destroy them. Where they go there, they have all the towns want to look nice and everything, and they'll put on a good face, but all the bicyclists do is they go there and they drink and like fuck off the next day. And it's like it's hard to determine whether they're actually bringing any economic benefit, but they keep doing it. And that's Ragbri. And then one year they rode in front of our house, where I grew up. It was our farm. And what it did was it made it so we couldn't leave our house for 48 hours. We couldn't leave because the road was completely locked off and we had no way to get around it. Because that's how roads work in Iowa. One way out, you're screwed. And so instead, we preempted this, and me, my brother, my sister, and I, we sold bottled mini Gatorades and peanut butter sandwiches that we made. And we made it a ton of money. Turns out, bicyclists fucking love peanut butter sandwiches.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't doubt that. Protein and all that?
Yeah. Protein carb combo. Fucking love them.
I have peanut butter bars in the fridge that I made the other day that are fucking nuts. I have no way for me to send you any because they melt as soon as I brought them outside, but
send it to me in dry ice.
I could. They're actually
get one of those like canisters that they like send DNA samples in.
Yeah, the non-airtight foam little cooler.
Oh no, I'm thinking like the metal canister. You know, send it to me in the canister from Jurassic Park that was used for the dino DNA.
The shaving cream?
Yeah, shaving cream can.
Oh no, they're super easy to make. We're having a barbecue Thursday, or we're going to try. It's supposed to rain. Are
these like you had to explain to me what these are, because I'm thinking one thing and I'm guaranteeing it's not what I'm thinking.
Let me get a picture real quick. Wow, these all look a lot nicer than mine. Here's a good one.
Sad about that.
My NVEC won't start up because of
You doing CPU?
No, it's not the CPU thing. Yeah, I can't bounce this to disk while streaming. It froze again. I have to do it offline. So, you want to move to the Discord and we'll continue there?
Sure, we can. How about this? I might do some beep boopery on the side if I can do it.
That's fine. I might watch a movie in an hour or so. I might watch Willy Wonka. So
we're Willy Wonka.
But all right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Sorry it didn't go well in the end, but yeah, it doesn't want to export while I'm live because I mean everything's. I'm literally encoding this and the stream again on the GPU. So cool. I'll catch you guys in the Discord.
We'll be on the Discord. Bye bye.
See you. Hey. Hey, thanks for making it all the way to the end of this video. I know that some of the VODs can get a little bit long, so I do appreciate you sticking around. I'd like to ask real quick if you have a friend or someone close to you who you think would like a clip or a portion or even the whole stream, please feel free to reach out to them and share this with them. I'm always looking for more respectful people to come hang out and have some fun. If you've already done that or want to help me out some other way, feel free to check out the video description for some other ways you can help support me. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.